Good evening, everyone. How the devil are you? I don't know about you, but it's very warm where I am. I think we need some coolant. Yes, indeed. The beer is cold and the beer is poured. Cheers, everyone. It's Friday. Welcome to the live stream once again. Oh, dear me. In case anyone's interested, this evening's diatribe will be brought to you by a beer I've never had before. This is Paulaner Munchen Hell Munich Lager. This was very, very kindly given to me by a student of mine who I'd like to say has become a friend, and he lives many miles away from me, but he was up this neck of the woods today, so he came up for a visit, and he's called Andrew. He sometimes shows up in the chat on a Friday here. I think he goes under the title of Pseudo Scott, so if ever he's in the chat, we'll have to thank him for the beers. It's not a bad drop, this, just after one little sup of it. But yeah, he brought me 4 beers. So straight into the fridge they went, and out of the fridge they are now for powering the live stream. So anyway, let me just switch that off. Let's just, as is the custom, have a look at who's in the chat, who was first in, all that sort of stuff. I suspect it will be the same register that I read out every week, you know, the usual roll call. Oh, Danny Hancock was first in, saying, I love lamp. Well, fair enough, mate. Then we've got Rob Bald and Edwin Toonan and Grandpa Joe. Then Peter Collins, Dr. Gomez, Johnny Random. Bridget Pollock's in, so is James Hunt and David Evans. Then we've got Michael Purcell, Cal B and the Rocco Cat, Chip Young. Have I said you already? If I haven't, I just have. Then Rex is in, Rexomatic, saying greetings on the road to Utah. Then we've got Phil Gearview Mirror, and who else we got? Sean House is there, David Evans, and then who else have we got? There's Paul Trainer and Simon M. Luke's in, John Ross, Ian Clark, John Channing, and Peter S. And scrolling down, OK Live is in. I see we've got Brad Matthews and Savvy64 and Chris Ottewell, the Essex Cat, Jimmy James and Thomas Mulvaney and Thomas from Kawas Music. There's Colin Falcon, local lad to me. He's in, one of the regulars is Colin. Then we've got Farjon Joe Jaffa. I really probably butcher that name every week. I do apologise. Then we've got Finn Auden Harstad. Scrolling down, Vince Brennan, Malcolm Spiller, Dudley Squat, and Fender Benders there. So is Dave Stevens, John Mack, William Forrest, Neil is in, and then we've got David K, Podrick Floyd, John Mack, Jeff C, and Johnny Love is there. So is Lawrence Hastings and Jamal123. Scrolling down, we've got Colm Crossbay, David K, David James is there, and we got Stevie Mack, the Budget Guitar Show. Nice to see you there, Johnny. Been enjoying your videos on the Faisley guitars, and what a great brand of guitars they are. And I'm going to be reviewing some pretty soon myself. We've got PFY Guitars, Dave Stevens, and excuse me, lost me. The page refreshed, and I lost the chat then for a second. Then we've got Kevin Crum and David K, and I think that's pretty much everybody. I do apologise if I've missed your name. No real plan, as always, for what I'm going to talk about this week. There never is, but I always seem to muddle on through. It's always bizarre. Like, I mean, I put a typical video that lasts about 15 minutes. If there's a piece of music involved, then it can take me a day to do, or in between doing lessons and stuff. But basically, it gets done over the course of a day, and I'll have usually a pen and paper here with kind of some notes and bullet points and stuff that I want to say in the video. and all of that effort goes into a 15-minute video. Then every Friday I come here, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, and when I look at me YouTube analytics, this Friday live stream is the one that always seems to get the most views, or it's certainly in the top half. So it's maybe I should do more of them. We shall see. So we've got Michael Palmer in. Nice to see you in, Michael. And usually around about this time of the evening, or whatever time of day it is where you are, I fill you in on what's going to be happening on the channel in the coming week. So no Saturday video this week. I should be doing some Saturday videos because I've got a load of content to get out. I've got this arrived about a week or two back. This is the NUX or the NUX Mighty plug. Their kind of take on the Fender Mustang Micro or whatever. I've not even opened the parcel yet. I just haven't had time, but I'm looking forward to seeing what that one's like. A lot of good reports about that. Yeah, so no Saturday video this week, but on Sunday we have another unboxing. It's a similar guitar to one that you've seen me reviewing on the channel lately, but it's the same brand but a different model, and it might basically rearrange these letters into a well-known brand of guitar: S, P and R. Jiggle them around a bit, use your imagination. So that's what we're unboxing on Sunday, and a full review, by the way. I decided to just I normally do the unboxing video and the review separately, but I was pushed for time, so I just did them both as one video. Then on Monday, a solo analysis, a classic Ronnie Wood guitar solo, but not from his time with the Rolling Stones. Probably one of his best-known guitar solos, but not from when he was in the Stones. Can anybody guess what that one might be? Then on Tuesday, we're going to do It's a Top 5, as is the case on every Tuesday, Top 5 Tuesday. And this week I'm talking about my top 5 favourite slide players, and there might be a little bit of controversy on that list because of not who's on it, but who isn't. But, as I say in the video, it is very much my personal taste. Music is subjective, and you like what you like and you don't like what you don't. And that's what these videos are all about, which is why I always say leave me your top 5 in the comments if you can be bothered. I see we've got a few correct answers there. Who was first with the correct answer? I see it might have been Brad Matthews. Yes, indeed. We're looking at the solo from Maggie May, and it was recorded. I did that video a while ago, but for some reason I've been sitting on it. It's just I've always thought there was something. It's like when I do these solo analysis videos, often the most recent one that I've done is always my favourite. So that's the one that always kind of jumps to the front of the queue to go up that week. But I've been sitting on this Maggie May one for a while, as you will see by the fact that part of it in the sort of walkthrough, talk-through part, I'm playing the Yamaha Revstar, which is still here. I've still got that guitar. The chap who's bought it hasn't come and collected it yet. But I'm purposefully not going anywhere near that guitar in case I don't want to part with it, because it is a beautiful, beautiful guitar. But no, it was the shootout between the Revstar and the Les Paul tribute, and I had to decide which one went, and I made my mind up, and it was the Les Paul. So I've got to let the Revstar go. Well, I have to, because it's been sold. As I say, the chap hasn't come to pick it up yet. So yes, Monday is the Maggie May solo. Tuesday, top 5 slide players. Then we're coming towards the end now of the Learn My Licks videos. I think I've done 15 episodes, or I will have done by the time we come to the end of it. And, it's starting to get a little bit... I'm noticing the viewing figures for those videos aren't doing as well as they did when they first started. So I'm going to retire that series of videos, the Learn My Licks. There's something else coming in its place. But as we're moving towards the end of it, I thought I'd just do a little bit of tidying up. A few people asked a couple of weeks ago for a Learn My Licks couple of videos on bass technique. So that is what I've done a video on, like kind of how I play bass a few years ago, but it's been a while since I've revisited that topic. So that's what's coming up on Wednesday, Learn My Licks on bass. So if you're interested in how I play bass, because all the bass lines on all the music that you hear on the channel are all played by me, then there's a little bit of an insight into that. And so that's Wednesday's video, and then on Thursday we have yet another unboxing. We're going to be looking at a couple of one of the new range of Faisley guitars. You saw this one last week because I kind of let the cat out the bag a little bit. But basically on Thursday we're going to be unboxing this, which is a Faisley Outlaw Series Coyote Plus. And spoiler alert, Faisley sent me 3 guitars to review. They only got 2 of them back because I ended up keeping this one. I got in touch with them and said, invoice me, I want to keep this. And we came to an arrangement. So which you will find out all about later on down the line. But yeah, this is a really properly nice guitar. And I know Johnny, Budget Guitar Show, has been singing their praises because I've been watching his videos on the Faisleys he's been looking at. It's weird, about 10, 12 years ago, vintage guitars, the Trev Wilkinson Trev Wilkinson designed vintage branded guitars by JHS. They were seen as groundbreaking quality, budget guitars with that kind of quality. And then along came Harley Benton for about, a good chunk of money less than a vintage guitar. And now we're starting to see, Harley Benton, they're building their brand, and, they're starting to creep up in price a little bit. And, a lot of the stuff that they do, like the Fusion models, are excellent guitars. But, as they're moving up the escalator, then we're starting to see other brands like Faisley come in down below. And that guitar that I've just shown you there is properly good. So you'll see me unboxing it on Thursday. That's the videos that are coming up on the channel this week. And what happens after Thursday? This happens after Thursday because it's Friday then, and we're on the beer. Danny Hancock is saying Dougal. Dougal is currently asleep. He will wake up at some point and have a little bit of a whinge and a cry, but he's doing all right. He was 5.5 kilos when we got him, which was, I think that'll be coming up to 6 weeks ago, and he's now 12 kilos. So he's growing up. He's getting into a big lad, and trying him off the lead, just starting to kind of let him off the lead for a bit of a run in an enclosed part of the park where we take him for a walk. And the training's coming along a little bit. Every week, every day, there are a few less little accidents on the carpet. So he's getting the hang of all that sort of stuff as well. He's doing good. Thanks for asking, Danny. Let's have a look, see what else has been going on in the chat while I've been... I see what. That's sacrilege, Johnny. Let's put you up on screen. I will never do that. How about the Pete Townsend smash your guitar up video, John? No. I often wonder how much of that was, a tax-related thing. Pete smashing up the guitars, just because it made them it made them a tax write-off. I'm not sure. I think there was possibly an element of that, but I don't know. I've never been into that whole idea of bashing guitars around. It just, I think it's because when I was, a young kid, and I had my awful satellite Les Paul copy, or my my Woolworths Top 20 guitar, And, you know, you used to see footage of guitarists like Pete Townsend, you know, smashing up Gibson Les Pauls and Fender Stratocasters. And I thought, I would have given my eye teeth to own that guitar that you've just smashed up. And it left a bit of a stain, shall we say. I just don't like that. It's not the sort of thing I like to see getting done, to be honest with you. And let's have a look. Reeled In is saying, loved the vid yesterday with the P90 Gold Top Harley Benton. Are you bringing that back for a full mix vid? I might well do that. Again, I was like, I'm so busy at the moment that sometimes I just have to think, basically do what Colin Guitaristas does, which is just do something with a looper pedal. I don't like doing that, you know, as a regular basis, because, you know, I feel like I'm shortchanging you. But that guitar will probably end up being part of a P90 shootout, because I've got 3 P90 guitars in here now. There's the indie guitar that you can see up there. Back there, there's the, if I lean this way, you can see right in the corner there's a black Harley Benton CST 24 with P90s, and there's that gold top P90 there. It just seems too good an opportunity to miss to not do like a 3-way comparison. So that is a video that's going to be coming up at some point. I think we're probably going to be talking well into the autumn by the time I get round to doing that. And ultimately, the gold top will not be a long-term resident here at Robson Towers, because I would like to, it was given to me as a gift, and I would like to buy Rob Bald there. You know, I would just like to pass that good fortune on with Rob's blessing. So, you know, it may go to Zoe's place, but I'm kind of sniffing around for a student who's just on the verge of kind of getting their first electric guitar, because that would be, you know, a really, really good, you know, electric guitar that they're not going to grow out of and have a, you know, and have to replace, you know, within a few months. Com Cross. Let's put you up there. Thank you so much, mate. Harley Benton do a telly for £66. I have it, and wow. Yeah, well, back when we had our previous dog, Taylor, do you remember I had to cancel a live stream one Friday because he had pancreatitis, and it was a trip to the emergency vets and all of that. Well, a good friend of mine and a student who's local to me, he was basically my taxi service for that day, because I don't drive. And he took me to the vets and waited there, you know, and he just, you know, he was an absolute star that day. Chap called Kevin Sherrington. Kevin, if you're watching this, you're a star. I know he won't, because he doesn't do YouTube pretty much. But anyway, as a thank you for that, I bought him one of those Harley Benton TE20s, which I think is the guitar that Com is referring to there. And you know, I surprised him. I just said, you know, just keep an eye on the post for the next few days. Just there might be a parcel force delivery turning up for you. And then a few days later, I got a phone call from him. It's like, what's this? Are you sure? Oh, thank you, Mark. You are a gentleman. That will go to Zoe's place this month, I promise you. But anyway, I bought my pal the Harley Benton TE20, and he absolutely loves it. What was he playing before that? I think he had the Squire Bullet Mustang that he was playing before that, and he was always saying to me that he liked the sound of a Telecaster, like the kind of single coil kind of sound for doing the strummy sort of stuff. So I got him that guitar, and I tell you what, Colm, you're absolutely right. It's a fantastic little guitar. Yes, you can tell it's built down to a price, but dear me, it plays nice, it sounds great, and you know, it's it's staggering the quality of dirt cheap electric guitars these days. It really is. Excuse me a second. Oh, I see we've got Dallas Toto in, my pal from New York. How are you, Dallas? Might be a bit early for you to have a beer, but I'll have one for you, mate. Let's see what else we've got going on in the chat, because I do tend to blether on quite a bit. Have you played a Hagstrom guitar, John? Says Farjon. I have briefly. One of the more kind of modern ones. Again, it was an ex-student of mine who had one, and he used to bring it to the lessons occasionally. It was the Hagstrom, I think, Super Swede. It was like basically a Les Paul kind of thing, but with 3 P90s. Oh, Dallas, you're drinking alone, are you? Well, you're never alone if you've got a beer. Let's have a look up here, see what else we got. Deco Dude is saying, I worked on a video and the band got cheap guitars and smashed them up and put them in the bin. Yes, I took them home. Well, why wouldn't you? What else we got? Kawas Music, Thomas there is saying, I also own the SC450 P90 GT. Had to do some upgrades, but it's now great. Made 2 videos with it. You can look at Kawas Music. Yes, go and check out Thomas's channel, Kawas Music. Just search YouTube for it and you will find it. Or Thomas, if you want to put the link in the chat, then feel free to do so, mate. Anyway, excuse me, I've just noticed my glass is empty and that will not do. So, excuse me while I just crack another one of these Munich lagers open. What percentage am I drinking here, actually, by the way? Let's have a look. Oh, 4.9%, so it's the right side of 4%. So, a few of these this evening, and yes, I shall have no problem sleeping, I imagine. But there's these, and there's some Heineken, and there's some Kronenberg in the fridge. So, are we gonna get something flake worthy? That is not a bad pour, actually, is it? That's not too bad at all. Sorry to disappoint everybody for those who wanted a type flake. Time Prophet, what you're saying there. I find a Jazz 3 is great for lead, but a bit stiff for rhythm. Do you find a Jazz 3 XL might help? I don't know. I mean, I use the lowly Jim Dunlop. Excuse me, I'm breaking these teeth in for the dog. Jim Dunlop Jazz 3, perfect for everything. I do strummy stuff with it on the acoustic. I do lead stuff with it on the electric and strumming on the electric. I even play bass with one of these when I'm playing bass with a pick. A lot of the time, though, I'm just using finger on a bass. So, I don't know. I used to use those similar ones to these. You know, the little weenie Gibson picks that are like shaped like a teardrop, but they're about that sort of size. I used to use those, but I don't know. I just seem to ended up on these somehow or other, and I don't know. They just seem to suit me, and I can seem to play on them, play pretty much anything with them. So let's have a look, see what else we got. Oh, budget guitar show. You're saving up for a Harley Benton Explorer. Had an Epi one, but sold it when times got tough. That is a guitar that I've never, ever played. I'm going to be doing... oh, yes, I meant to tell you. Stuff that's coming up on the channel. I said the Learn My Licks series of videos is coming to an end soon. I think we're up to about episode 13 that'll be coming up this week. I've just this week finished filming episode 15, and that's going to be the last one for a while. So I'm aware that because I sit here and talk and kind of ramble on quite a bit, I often miss questions that are put to me in the chat. I'm not Rick Beato. I don't have, a whole host of admin staff keeping an eye on the chat and feeding me questions. I'm just sat here talking, and I'll glance back at the chat every now and again. So I do apologise if I miss the questions that come at me, but that's what we're going to be doing a new series of videos on. Okay. Much like, Dave Simpson does that Answer the Question Wednesday, and, what's his name? Glenn Fricker does his Viewers Comments show. I think it's about time I got you chaps involved in the channel a little bit more and started, kind of doing a viewers comments, viewers questions, Q&A, that kind of video. So that's going to be coming up on a Wednesday in a few weeks' time. So if you have any questions about anything at all, about how I make videos, about how I record, about how I play the guitar, about any aspect of guitar playing, about music in general, or even, just, what's it like living in Redcar, anything at all, then start pinging emails to me, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, or leave comments in videos or whatever. I would say you can find me on social media, but you can't because I'm not on it. I used to be, but I got better. Anyway, so just viewers' questions, viewers' comments, all open season, as long as you aren't being, which I'm sure you won't, because I feel like I know all you chaps, but as long as you're not being a bit of a plank, then there's a fair chance that the comment or the question will make it onto the show at some point. So just, I was going to say put pen to paper then, but how 20th century is that? Just let me know what your questions or comments are, and we're going to start doing a series of shows based on that sort of content. So let me know. I see, Colin is saying, great idea, get your viewers to create the content. We all have enough opinions to spare. How quick can you down a pint of mild? I've not had a pint of mild in years. Dear me, I can't think there's any pubs that I know of that have mild on, certainly around here. But it used to be in every pub, didn't it? You'd have three. You'd have like the electric pump for lager. You'd probably have the Guinness pump. You'd have a bitter hand pull, and you'd have a mild hand pull. And if it was anything more exotic than that, then you needed to go to a wine bar, basically. But I've not had mild in years. I shall have to see if I can get some. Yes. Oh, Geronimo, what you been saying there, mate? Wasn't going to start drinking yet, but you've convinced me, John. Cracked open a Heineken to your health and to the rest of the chap's health. Well, everybody raise a glass to Geronimo. Cheers, Geronimo, mate. Good health, mate. Johnny Random saying you're showing your age. Well, I'm 55, mate. I'm not ashamed of that. I wasn't ashamed of being 18 when I was 18. I'm not going if I'm going to be ashamed of being 55. What are you saying, Danny? I can recommend a new channel, Virgin Rock. Classical musician reacts and then analyzes various rock tracks. The analysis is really interesting for us theory nerds. Yeah, that sounds a lot like a channel I've been watching for a while now, the Daily Doug. It's always billed as classical composer reacts to Dark Side of the Moon or whatever. And I mean, watching his videos, right, he's just such a he's the kind of bloke you'd go for a beer with. Real kind of deep south southern gentleman kind of voice on him. Every sentence is kind of ends with y'all. He's a really nice guy, and it's just really impressive the way he can listen to a piece of music, and maybe he kind of works it out in advance. I don't know, but you get the feeling that this is genuine first time that he's listening to it, and he's just saying, "Oh, he's okay, so G minor, oh, and then adding the flat sixth, and he's kind of listening. Like, obviously, quite. It seems if what's going on in the videos is genuine, that he has a perfect pitch, which is just something that befuddles me. I just don't. I don't get perfect pitch. I don't. I've met plenty of people who claim they've got perfect pitch, but they always have a good reason why they can't demonstrate it at that particular moment. Not saying anything, but this guy, I think he probably has, and it's just incredible to watch somebody just from a completely different sphere of music, reacting to music that we're all familiar with and have been for years. So I shall check that out. Virgin Rock. Dave Pegg, what a brilliant idea. Can you do something on how to teach, please? I did do a video kind of like that a while ago. Things that I've learned, 5 things that I've learned in my years as a guitar teacher. So yeah, okay, leave that one with me. Let me just make a note of that. A how to teach video. Yeah. The short version is 2 things that you got to remember. First of all, if you're an experienced guitar player or experienced doing anything, if you've got a whole kind of decade or decades of experience immersed in that world, then there are so many things that are just second nature and intuitive to you that you forget that you had to learn. And then when you're talking to somebody who doesn't know that, never assume that knowledge on their part. So you've got to put that knowledge across in a way that is is interesting. And that brings me on to the second point. Okay, what you are as a teacher is a storyteller. I always remember my old history teacher when I was at school. He was called Mr. Temple. And I only took history because I needed to take another subject to make up the number of subjects. I thought, okay, history, that'll do. And he could take the most dry and dull subjects you would think. Things like, the Versailles Treaty and, the Russian Revolution and, the Labour governments after the Second World War, and he would just walk around the classroom telling this story of whatever the topic was. No notes, no nothing, just kind of just spouting this stuff. Much like there used to be a guy on TV called AJP Taylor who would do the same sort of thing, and it was very much in that kind of he would tell a story and he would always time it perfectly. So at the end of the lesson, he'd leave it on a cliffhanger, and you genuinely wanted to know what happened next. So you weren't going to skip that lesson the next week. So as a teacher, you are a storyteller. So create a narrative, and make a story out of it, and tell that story. That's something that I've kind of tumbled to. Mainly, it has to be said through making YouTube videos. It's on YouTube. You might think you're making videos about reviewing a guitar or teaching a scale or unboxing something. What you're really doing is you're in the entertainment business, and you got to tell a story. There's got to be a narrative. So, and that's what I try to do. Whether I succeed or not isn't really for me to kind of comment on. Malcolm Spillett is saying, my music teacher at secondary school put so many kids off music. Yeah, I had a music teacher like that as well, but fortunately that music teacher retired. And then we got a new guy, and I was about 15 at the time, and he was fresh out of university, so he was maximum, 10 years older than the kids he was teaching. So, there was, he wasn't. He would say, "Okay, we're going to do Tchaikovsky today, okay?" But hands up, how many people like listening to heavy metal? And we put our hands up and say, "Okay, well, take a listen to this thing by Iron Maiden. Now let's listen to Tchaikovsky and see if you can hear that." He would approach it in that way, and he would make it relevant, which was, I suppose, one of the things that got me into interested in, learning about music as well. So anyway, what else we got going on in the chat? I see. Where's that gone there? Where are we? Sorry, I've just refreshed the chat. Michael Palmer, my old history master could take the most exciting subject and turn it to sawdust. Yeah, that is a particular talent from some teachers have. Craig, what are you saying there? By the way, sorry, I didn't notice you were in yet, Craig. One of my school music teachers told me I will never play an instrument, which pushed me to learn guitar, and had lessons from the fantastic Mr. John Robson. I genuinely didn't know you were going to say that, Craig. I just saw your name there and thought I'd put you up on screen. But yes, it was great teaching you, Craig, and I'm pleased that you think so highly of me. Thank you so much. Excuse me a second. We're over halfway into the stream, and I'm less than halfway into me beer. I've got some catching up to do. Let's have a look, see what else has been going on in the chat. Sean House is saying, did the kids name Mr. Temple Shirley? No, that was... This was the 1980s, and Shirley Temple was but a distant memory even for our parents back then. So no, they didn't. He was one of those chaps that again, a sign of the times, the 1980s. There was one corner of the common room where, early 1980s, 1983. One corner of the common room where that was the smokers' corner. That was the officially designated place where if you were 16 or over, old enough to buy cigarettes, you could go and have a smoke in that one corner. Because obviously, if you were in that corner, then all the smoke stayed in that corner and didn't kind of go in the rest of the room. And Mr. Temple always used to come down and have a smoke with those bad boys in the smokers' corner in the common room. Great fun. Anyway, how times change. I worked with a keyboard player who told me I'd never be able to play piano. He was right. Yes, I've got a keyboard in the corner, and I keep meaning to kind of set it up and start having a kind of teaching myself some keyboard chops, but I've never got round to it yet. It's just this whole kind of thing, like on a keyboard, like some of the notes are kind of like, for me, like if I just pick up this Paisley that you've seen already, if I know that's an F and that's an F sharp, well, it's because it's one semitone higher than F. It's not a different colour, and it's not set back a little bit. It's that's the thing on a keyboard that always kind of fumbles me, because it's like, it's just some of the notes are, why not just have all the notes in a row like you do on a guitar, like on a proper instrument, yes, indeed. Let's have a look at this, RF. I've only had 2 guitar lessons. On the second lesson, my teacher said, if my fat fingers can play this, so can yours. Never went back. Yeah, I mean, you see, you do get teachers like that, where it's like, well, if I can do it, you can do it. there is a particular guitar teacher in this area on Teesside in the northeast of England, who I'm not going to name, but the chaps who are in the stream from this part of the world probably know who I mean, who, will teach a song that's got bar chords in it to somebody on their first lesson. They've never picked up a guitar before. They've never even tuned a guitar. It's like they've got a guitar for their birthday that week, and they go along for a guitar lesson to this guy who is, I can't take it away from him, he's an absolutely astonishingly good guitar player. I mean, just completely on a different league. He's the kind of guy who can sit and put a set of headphones on and transcribe an Alan Holdsworth solo live. Utterly gobsmackingly good player. But he's giving beginners bar chords on their first lesson, and then gets snarky with them when they can't play it. It's you do it like this, and the players like that, the teachers like that do exist. Let's have a look. Dr. Gomez, what are you saying there, mate? My music teacher was Mr. Watson, who was principal bass player in the London Philharmonic Orchestra and then a cellist in the Halley Orchestra in Manchester. He was brilliant. Yeah, this is it, you see. It's I had a course tutor about 25 years ago. I had this notion that I wanted to go into schools and start teaching music in schools. So I did a course on how to become a peripatetic music teacher. And I got some work out of it, went into schools and whatever. But the course tutor there, he was he was a trumpeter. And his light bulb moment was that he was a trumpeter, and all he lived for was Haydn and Brahms, and that was his whole world. And he was of an age when pop groups came out. He was like 7 when beat groups, as they were called in the 60s, came out. He was about 16, 17, and all he could see was like kind of lots of girls screaming. And and the music wasn't particularly kind of audible, so he thought, I want anything to do with that. And then he ended up getting married later in life to a younger. I think he traded in for a younger model, basically. And his missus said, "Right, I've been listening to your music, your Haydn and Brahms and Beethoven and stuff. You're going to listen to my stuff now." And she made him sit down and listen to Dark Side of the Moon. It blew his mind. Apparently, he didn't know that pop music could have such gravitas and such worth. And that was what inspired him to start teaching young kids who were probably into this pop music that he thought of. How to get kids interested in music in a serious manner. Hence, he started kind of a music education business and ended up running the course that I was on. Really, I mean, I find it fascinating to talk to people from that from that sphere of music where they it's like they have no or little experience of rock music, and then suddenly they kind of it's when two worlds meet, and I love that sort of meeting of minds. Any tips for vetting a guitar teacher with a sense of empathy? Same way as you would vet any tradesman that you're going to employ. There are plenty of online reviews and that kind of thing. Ask around, basically. Ask around. I mean, I'm aware that I'm unusual in this day and age in that I don't bother with Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of that sort of stuff. It's just I tried it, I didn't like it, and it's just like not for me. But I understand most people are. Probably most of you chaps in the chat are on that kind of on those platforms. Ask around. I've heard this guy's pretty good. Anybody got any experience with him in whatever relevant group there is, and if it's local to you, then ask on a local group or whatever. But, it's the same as when you're asking for a plumber or an electrician or something like that. It's a tradesman and you're thinking of giving them some work. So see what sort of reputation they have amongst, previous customers. That's how I would do it. Let's have a look, see what we got. I've heard that Chris Rea could only play in Open E as he played slide so much. Yeah, well, here's the thing. I mean, I did, ages ago now, the solo and a solo analysis from, excuse me, this top doesn't want to come off, from The Road to Hell, Chris Rea song, and it's in the weirdest tuning. It's the only song, I think, from memory, it's in some sort of E tuning, but you've got the major and the minor third in there on some of the strings. I can't remember the exact tuning. I could look it up, but I'm drinking beer at the moment. But yeah, I remember an interview with him on some radio. It might have been that Saturday sequence that I mention every now and again on here. The back in the 90s when Radio 1 used to get rid of all the teeny boppers on a Saturday afternoon and play proper music. He was on there. I think it was on there, and he was talking about he would play. He would get used to playing in Open E, and then he'd pick up a standard tune guitar and kind of play a scale or a lick or something that he'd memorised that he knew from Open E, and it would sound, well, as he put it, a bit Picasso. And so it's possibly, I don't know, but he's. I mean, there are plenty of songs that he's written that aren't based around Open E tuning. So who knows? Anyway, but it'd be nice. It would be nice to do another Chris Rea solo. I should look into doing that. Gordo Cannock is saying Chris Rea is one of my faves. Has John ever done an analysis of Chris Rea tunes? Yes, I did. The Road to Hell ages ago, but as I'm saying, it's a while ago since I did that. Let's have a look, see what else we've got. Dave Lewis is saying, I'm not on social media and I don't own a mobile phone. Well, I mean, I resisted the whole smartphone thing. I was one of the first people to have, not first people to have, but first amongst like the people I knew. I was like one of the first people to have one of the old analog brick phones, mainly because I was having to. I was living in rented accommodation at the time, and there was a clause in the contract that you couldn't run a business out of that accommodation, and I did, but then they kind of tumbled to it, so I had to kind of rent premises to teach from, and there was no phone line there, so I had to have a mobile phone, and an old. If anybody remembers in the UK remembers the old chain of phone shops, People's Phone. I had one of theirs, which shows you how long ago. It was about 94. And so, but gradually kind of upgraded and went on. But I resisted the whole kind of smartphone thing until, I think, when did I get my first smartphone? I think it was probably around about 2017. So I was very, very late to the whole smartphone world because I just didn't want email and internet and everything everywhere. I thought it would probably be, a distraction. And nowadays. I honestly don't know. I mean, this, as well as being my phone, it's also the camera that I film all my YouTube videos on. So, so there you go. Dave Lewis is saying, what about doing Texas, the Chris Rea tune? Yes, it's a likely candidate. I was thinking maybe of Stainsby Girls or something. Oh, Rob is saying, I was in the studio audience for the first ever Shooting Stars and Chris Rea was on the panel. He was pissed and spent most of the filming asleep. Woke up near the end and asked, are we going for a curry? Yeah, that sounds like a Middlesbrough lad, doesn't it? Very much indeed. Right, what else we got? Here we go. Let's have a look. Phil is it Phil? Sorry, the chat's just refreshed and I've lost the comment. Only have a smartphone for a couple of years and I keep mine as stupid as possible. Yeah. I must admit, the only thing I use this for phone calls, text messages, and really speaking, that's pretty much it. I do like I've got a couple of apps on here for like newspapers and stuff, and I kind of like to. It's easy on a morning when I first wake up at 5:30, because the paper shop isn't open then. So I've got the newspaper on my phone, and that's pretty much about it. Don't really kind of use it for much else. I'm certainly not. I can probably count on the fingers of one hand the number of apps I've got on there. I see. Rob is asking what is on the Robson menu tonight in the Robson household. It's a kebab tonight. It will be Sunday. Seems to become our curry night in Robson Towers. We're not having a curry on a Friday that much these days. I can report that Bengal Spice, a couple of times ago we had Bengal Spice curry, the local curry house around near us, and it wasn't very good. So we put them on the naughty step for a while, and we didn't go there. But we had one a couple of weeks ago, and it was back on form. So I think this evening we shall be dining on chicken kebab, and then Sunday will be the curry night, because it's just part of the ritual, isn't it? You know, you go and I don't like getting a curry delivered. I like to go to the curry restaurant and get the takeaway, because you can sit and have a pint of Cobra, or maybe a couple of pints of Cobra while you're waiting. You know, and then just bring it back, and it's the anticipation as much as anything else. So yes. Anyway, tonight is a kebab kind of night. Not even a tuner app. I think I have got a tuner app on the PFY guitars, but I'm using. What am I using these days? Mainly is my tuner for anything where I'm doing intonation or setting a guitar up. I use the brilliant tuner in Reaper. It's so accurate. It's perfect for doing like intonation and stuff. But just for day-to-day tuning, I use one of these little D'Addario tuner. I went through about 4 Snark tuners, because that's the headstock tuner that everybody uses. And I went through about 4 of them. They just literally kept falling to bits. That little kind of nipple part where it kind of where it kind of clips on, where the actual tuner body it just kept cracking, and you know the battery would go. So I've got this one here, I think it's D'Addario. Look like a D'Addario logo to you. Not sure. It's either D'Addario or Damasio. I'm not sure. But one of these. Anyway, this is the tuner I use these days. And if you turn it around, you can see it's rechargeable. Imagine that. You know. something that's battery operated and you can recharge the battery. What will they think of next? Let's see what new comments we've got. Let's put you up on screen, David. Would you agree that generally speaking, people only take notice music is good because the media tells them it is and they don't have their own minds? Not in general, I wouldn't know. I think that music is an art form, and it's like if you are an aficionado of that art form, then you're into that and you're plugged into that world, and you appreciate it, and you're discovering new stuff, and you kind of you delve below the surface. But in the same way as I'm not really plugged into the whole, I don't know, literary world. I like detective novels and espionage novels and that sort of stuff. The sort of thing that anybody who is a real literary buff would turn their nose up at. Oh, that's just mass market pulp fiction. What are you reading that for? Well, because I enjoy it. And for many people, music is, that's what music is to them. It's just, something that's pleasant. They don't take a lot of notice of it. They enjoy it when they experience it, but they don't. It's not their thing primarily. So mass market music is a bit like mass market literature, I guess. If you are, a real literary buff, then you probably don't read much in the way of Lee Child and Mark Billingham and who else can I think of? Tom Clancy. You'll probably turn your nose up at that and bang on about Chaucer and Shakespeare and Jane Austen all of the time. But hey, I read what I read because I like it. So I think it's just whatever particular art form you're into, really. Anyway, chaps, we're drawing towards the end of the hour, and I have a kebab turning up shortly, so we'll start thinking about winding things up pretty soon. Let's just have a couple more comments. Johnny Random is saying, I have a rechargeable Harley Benton tuner that is rechargeable. I would imagine it would be if it's a rechargeable tuner. It goes down to 1 cent in the tuning. It only costs about £6. Yeah, this little thing here, I think I got it from, where have I put it? From Strings Direct. I think this was less than, certainly round about a tenner, let's say. So it wasn't dear, and as I say, the headstock tuner that everybody bangs on about is the Snark, and I've gone through about 4 of them. I wouldn't have another one. And what else we got? One last comment. Let's have a look. Rob Bald is saying, by the way, saw Baz Luhrmann's Elvis night last night. Fantastic. Tears in my eyes. Tears of joy. Do you know what? I've not heard a bad thing about that movie. So, yes, that might. The thing is, if it's only on in the cinema, then for if I'm 6'7" or 5'19", as I often describe it, and cinema seats are not made for people like me in mind. So it's I always end up getting cramp, and it's like it's uncomfortable, what have you. So I'll probably wait till it appears on whatever streaming service it'll appear on. So I might wait for it then, but it's definitely one that's on the list of to watch. Anyway, chaps, 59 minutes in, I'm starting to get hungry, and shall we put it this way? What goes in must come out, so I need to go and insult the porcelain, break the seal, if you catch me drift. So I'm going to wrap it up there for this evening. Thank you once again, everyone, for turning up and watching a fat bald lad talk absolute nonsense for an hour while he gets slowly drunk. Well, not quite so slowly. I'll keep on doing it until he gets sick of me, but for now, time, gentlemen, please.